how to patch a ceiling. This is a plasterboard ceiling with a skim coat on it, so I'm obviously going to patch it with plaster, and I'll be using multi-finish. So my preparation is I've scrimmed the joints up here, offering it up, covering up any gaps, scrape down the edge, make sure there's no loose plaster left and that the boards are all nice and tight and not bouncing. Then get your mix on. I have videos on that too. So once you're all prepped up and ready to go, it's time to get it coated. My mix is very thick and tight, as you can see, and the reason for that is I'm doing a ceiling, so you'll always want your mix that little bit tighter, and it'll do a couple of things. It'll be a lot less messy, you'll drop less, and it'll set a wee bit quicker for you, and obviously you want it to drop less because you're working above your head. So what I'm doing, I'm working around the edges first, as you can see, nipping it in, making sure I fill all the voids. I don't want no air hollows in behind this. So the way I always do patches, I always try to work from the edges in. You can see I'm definitely emphasizing pressing the plaster into them joints. And also remember, a thicker mix should be stronger, guys, as well. So once I get the joints in, I'm just filling out the back, and it is a patch, but I will still do a 2-coat system on this. And that's the first coat done. So what's next after your first coat is your second coat. You might want to let the ceiling pick up a little bit, even 5-10 minutes would be good before you start applying your second coat. But the second coat's the next stage here, and this is where we're at. Again, you can see I'm checking them well filled out. Use your trowel, guys, work from the edges, make sure it's well filled out, so that you want this joint to be invisible, so you want to fill it out well, and especially along that big long joint there. I'm definitely trying to emphasize putting plenty of plaster in and taking the back off nice, level and flat. Again, a patch like this won't take a big lot of stuff, but if you want to do it in 2 batches, that's okay. You can do it in 1 batch, like I am doing here. I don't see the point in mixing up 2 batches for 1 patch. And again, still filling in the edges, and like always, try to be as neat and tidy as you can. Filling it in well, but try to leave no lines. The easier, the neater you have it now, the easier troweling up will be later on. And again, just can't emphasize enough of keeping that joint as tight and tidy and level as possible. And I'm using my Refina skimming trowel and the pointsman hawk, and getting a lot of questions about the skimming trowels recently, so I'm going to have to do a video on that. Now would also be a good time, see any excess, give it a bit of a wipe off, just like I'm doing there. Trying to take as much of that off now as possible, so that later on is easier. Here we go with the troweling up, the first trowel. Now you don't necessarily need water, but I like to wet down the edges here and give them a bit of a clean. A 6-inch stock brush, like so, will be perfect. Not sure if this one's the Refina one or not. Possibly is, but not 100% sure on that, but I know Refina do some good ones. Again, I'm giving it all a scrub around the edge because that is the whole point of the patch, guys. It's the most visible part is going to be the edge, so you want that edge, that joint, to be as flawless as possible. And you will see that I'm really taking my time and just going over them edges as much as possible, trying to take off the excess off the original plaster as well, as much as possible, guys, so that when it's painted it's going to come up like new. So this is, you don't necessarily need to flick water on it at this stage because it still will be soft, and I recommend you do your first flattening instantly. Maybe wash your hawk and trowel, get up, give it a quick flattening then, and after you get it all flat like so, is going to be time for you to get all your tools, buckets, drill washed, so that basically you have just a hawk of trowel and brush, a bucket of water. Your hop up is all that's going to be left. You can clear the area out, and you will have time to do all that because you're going to be in between trowels. And how do you know it's the next time to trowel up, guys? Is you gotta feel it. You can do that two ways. Literally, you can do it with a touch test with your fingertips, or you can just run the trowel over it gently and see the reaction of the plaster. Now, I go into detail in what I just talked about, the touch testing, in another video, how to plaster a wall. And if you want to really watch that video, there's some great tips in that also. But back to this patch up video, and you can see that I'm really concentrating on my edges. I do keep repeating that, but that's what the patch is. You gotta, for a seamless patch, you want to make sure them corners, them edges are as clean and crisp as possible. And I don't need loads of water because I've left this handy for myself by keeping it clean and tidy. There's no lines. I have it all well filled out, but I'm still going to exaggerate these joints. I'm still going to concentrate on them again, so that my next trowel that follows, the third trowel following, will be even easier again, and there'll be less defects. But at this stage, you really should have the thing flawless. No lines, no holes, no bumps, no watermarks. As clean and tidy around them edges as possible. That's what you're aiming for, guys. That's the name of the game. Get it tidy early, and you'll be flying on every stage after. And just watch how much effort and time I'm putting into the joint around the edge. That's what it's all about. Time to clean up your trowel again. Right, so now it's time to sponge float it. No, I'm only joking. It's time to clean the edges, guys, and you can use your water brush, but I have a nice clean sponge in the van here, and my mate Paul loves this one. He loves cleaning up his edge with a sponge, and if you're only doing one patch, guys, you've got time to do this. You know, you have time to try to be fussy. Now, sometimes the paint can rip and flake on you, but this sealant's behaving very well for me. As you can see, it's washing off pretty well, so the painter beforehand's done a great job. And the paint was obviously good quality paint, so I'm safe. And I give it a wee wash there just before the third trowel. As you can see, again, not needing a big pile of water. It's just a patch, so you don't need loads and loads of water. And still really taking my time on the joints and this back angle as well. I'm just really gliding over, getting it polished in a bit more. And there will be another trowel after this. I will give it a super flex, and you'll see what super flex I've went with on this video. So now I have the joint. I'm pretty happy with the shape of my joint. I can just pull it from both ways. As you can see, I'm troweling it from horizontal and vertical directions, as I'm quite confident that there's no bumps. Everything's nice and square and tidy. And that's the way you want to get it at this stage, guys, that you really are just polishing up, and any wee pinholes, any wee air holes, you're just filling them up. You can see I'm not taking anything off, really, and I'm not really adding anything on. I'm just double checking, really. This stage should be well underway. See this look, guys. Believe it or not, there's a TV running in this room, and there's a cooking show on, and the fella lit the place on fire nearly live on TV. I don't know if anybody's seen that, but I seen the look and I thought, yeah, that was funny. Like, it was unbelievable. And the other two were shouting at him, there's a fire. And it must have been a bit of a lag in his live stream because he didn't hear them for a while, so he was standing there telling them, cook it this way, cook it that way, which is funny that he's doing a how-to cooking show while I'm doing this how-to video for plastering, and I thought it was funny. I thought you should know that. But yeah, that's us ready for the polishing stage, guys. While you're waiting for it to set off, why not give the edges another wee light sponge? Just have the sponge just lightly damp, and you can give these edges another go on. And obviously with clean water, rinsing the sponge every time. And you can also have some clean water for your last couple of trowels here as well. So here we go, it's time to shine, literally, with the Refina Superflex 3. And I just always wet the blade, guys. This patch is well troweled in. There's not a mark left on it. It's just a wee quick polish just to make sure. And I just wet the blade to stop the surface turn, and it'll help lubricate the trowel and stop the surface of the satin plaster ripping on you, which can be a bit of a disaster. So that's me finished. I'm just really gonna just double check my back corner here and making sure it's well filled, and really just looking around it, making sure any imperfections are perfect, cleaning the edges with the tussle brush. And then obviously it's just clean up time all round. So let's just recap. Preparation, cover up, get your tools in, scrape down the ceiling, make sure there's nothing loose, nothing bouncing, scrim tape up your joints similar to the way I have, mix your plaster, get your plaster on, get your tools washed up, and then start flattening in. Get your first trowel done, your second trowel, your third trowel, and then just like I've done here, just a light shine and a bit of a clean of the angles again before you clean up the whole ceiling. And again, if you want to know any more, there is more details on some of my other videos, and you can always drop a comment and I'll hit this up in the comment box, or if you need a link to a video with some more details, let me know. And don't be afraid to poke around the channel, the more you watch, the more you'll know.